When your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet, will your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Will your eyes still smile from your cheeks? Darling, I will be loving you till we're 70. And baby, my heart could still fall as hard at 23. And I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Maybe just the touch of a hand. Well, me, I fall in love with you every single day, and I just wanna tell you I am. So honey, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking when your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet, will your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Will your eyes still smile from your cheek? Darling, I will be loving you till we're 70. And baby, my heart could still fall as hard at 23. And I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Maybe just the touch of a hand. Well, me, I fall in love with you every single day, and I just wanna tell you I am. So honey, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud, maybe we found love right where we are. When my hair's all but gone and my memory fades, and the crowds don't remember my name. When my hands don't play the strings the same way, I know you will still love me the same. 'Cause honey, your soul could never grow old, it's evergreen. Baby, your smile's forever in my mind and memory. I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways, and maybe it's all part of a plan. Well, I'll just keep on making the same mistakes, hoping that you'll understand.
Would you all please rise?
Baby, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light
may be seated.
Well, welcome. You all made it. We're gathered here in this venue to celebrate Gary and Carolyn Moses, aka Mom and Dad's 40th wedding anniversary. This venue is of particular significance because this is the congregation that you raised your family around and where you became part of the larger Jewish community. Mom and Dad, when you first exchanged rings 40 years ago, you didn't know what life would bring for you and where it would take you. You promised to love, honor, and cherish one another through ups and downs, changes in health, aspirations of wealth, the additions of kids, the additions of kids, the additions of kids, and the throes of your career. Regardless of the daily peaks and valleys, it is clear that life surely has been kind to the two of you. Your bond serves as a shining example of the richness that marriage can bring to your lives and the lives of all that who know and love you. You have 5 loving, socially conscious children, a growing number of grandchildren, and a group of friends that serve as a broader support network and your community. Before we continue, I would like you both just to take a few moments to look at each other, look out here in this room, and savor this day. See all of the loved ones who traveled from near and far to share this special occasion with you. These are the faces of your lives today. And although your parents and some other loved ones that helped get us to this point cannot be here with us, they're here supporting you and got us to this moment. And we thank them all. And all of you, their family and friends, each of you has played a role in bringing them together to this day, and in various ways will continue to support and contribute to their marriage. Thank you all for coming. Mom and Dad, you have developed long-lasting friendships, and you have not forgotten how truly special your relationship with each other is. In 1979, and even beforehand, your relationship was anything but conventional. You found each other, loved each other, and that was all that mattered. You both understood the meaning of sacrifice and struggle and putting family before all else long before you met. Gary, for you, you are the product of 2 stalwart German parents who fled Nazi Germany and raised their children with a sense of pride, tradition, and Lebkuchen. And Carolyn, the product of parents who grew up in the Jim Crow South and moved north in the hopes of a better life for themselves, eventually their children, grandchildren, and yes, even great-grandchildren. The parallelism isn't just by coincidence, and I think you'd agree that it is a bit of fate. Beyond your similar upbringing, you both were born on 10/10 and 11/11, and 7 years apart, with 7 representing a completed cycle in Jewish tradition, be it from the day of creation or the Sabbath. Yes, this is a relationship right out of Chaz Palminteri's A Bronx Tale. Just a little bit further north and a decade later. See, it was March 6, 1976, and I had to turn back to him to get the exact date, so he's got a great memory. Gary introduced himself like he was James Bond. Hi, I'm Gary Moses. And he said good Shabbos on his way home from synagogue. Talk about being in the right place at the right time with the right line. He said he had a tenant with the same last name, and knowing my father, that was probably true. And eventually, after seeing you a couple weeks in a row, he had the courage to ask you out for a romantic evening, listening to the solemnity of the Gregorian chant. And you stuck with him. They did it for 2.5 years, enjoying cinema, car rides, and old Tom Carvel's specials on the lead up to that special day on August 27th, 1978, the last concert of the season at Tanglewood. After the concert, he proposed in the English garden, asking her to marry him, and to his amazement, she said yes. As we reflect on the past, embrace the present, and look ahead to your next 40 years together, could either of you have imagined when you first met all those years ago in Riverdale that you would be standing here today? 40 years! I suppose the greatest difference between these Moseses and Moses in the Bible is that after 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, you two have made it to the promised land. And unlike our ancestors, after 40 years, the hope is for 40 more years wandering on this journey together. We recall your wedding day when they sang Brucha Haba'ah to usher in the bride. Blessed and welcome, he who is mightier than all, he who is blessed above all, he who is greater than all, he who is delighted, who is distinguished beyond all, he should bless the groom and bride. I can say, as your son, truly you two have been blessed. Your relationship appears stronger than ever as you invest in each other and continue to write new chapters beyond Gary's favorite 5 books of Moses. You keep each other young, and you continue to share regular adventures with each other, whether it's here in Teaneck, in Alaska, the Grand Canyon, Maine. You share new and exciting experiences, and you continue to challenge each other to be your best selves. You look forward to more travel with each other, time with your grandkids, good health, and the rest of your lives with each other. You support and love one another, and that is truly never ending. And it's evident to everyone here today and to all who have come to know you. The saying goes that patience is a virtue, and I think everyone here will attest that both of my parents are quite virtuous people. It's been a long journey to get to this 40th anniversary. Along the way, you've sacrificed for the sake of your 5 children, Yoni, Devorah, Josh, Sarah, and Shira. You've seen 3 of your kids get married in recent years and expressed to me how much joy you saw in those days and wanting to share that joy once more. So today is the day we share those same experiences with you. 40 years is a long time. And this ceremony is about celebrating with you, forming new memories, just in case those memories from once upon a time are getting a little fuzzy. Of the 75 family members and friends that joined you that evening, most are no longer with us. And we celebrate and commemorate what came before today. For Dad, you once again get to see your beautiful bride. And for Mom, you get to see the man who fulfilled those promises of the days and years past. We, your children, appreciate your sacrifice and all the things that you've done for us over the years. And so throughout this ceremony, in a sign of our appreciation, we will share our sentiments with you. To all of our amazement, and to my wife's dismay, much of our father's ways have passed on generation to generation. I'm sure you're going to hear some of that from us today. But first I'm going to start with my older brother, Yoni, who will share his sentiments.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I didn't write anything down because the paper would probably shake in my hand like crazy. I'm not very good, even as a public school teacher, I'm not very good standing up in front of people. But I thought I'd go off the top with this one. As Josh mentioned, 40 years is definitely a very, very long time. Speaking to my best friend today, my best friend who I haven't seen in over a couple of years, we usually get together when I come down to Teaneck and make plans to hang out later this evening. My best friend was with his forever and a day for exactly 6 years. They didn't last the tortures and the ups and downs. They didn't ride the wave of marriage. And every time I talk to him, it's very, very difficult because I got to see a perfect example firsthand growing up. Marriage is definitely not easy. It's definitely not fun at times. Not mine, of course. Mine is the best ever. I got the best life ever. And never argue or disagree about anything. But it's definitely got its ups and downs, and few people are willing to go through those ups and downs for 40 days, let alone 40 years. It's a very difficult time. And I gotta be honest, I didn't think there were times that we would have seen 40 days altogether. Arguments, disagreements, just the course. But your love stood the test of time. Your love fought through all the toughness and battles that were just natural to couples. And you are both a shining example of what marriage and love is. And even though I don't get to see my siblings very often, it's very great to have everybody and thank everybody for coming in today. Just to see this testament of love and definitely 40 years more. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, Gary. In marriage, we give ourselves freely and generously into the hands of the ones we love most. And by doing so, we receive the love and trust of the other as a most precious gift. Mom and Dad, your daughter Devorah recently experienced this during her wedding this last October, and she will now share some of her thoughts with us.
How about no mic? Maybe you guys can hear me okay. I think it's genetic. We don't like public speaking. So. Except Josh. Except for Josh. Josh is it, but okay. With 40 years of marriage, Mom and Dad also accomplished raising 5 kids who turned out pretty all right, if I do say so myself. They taught us kids to be caring, kind, empathetic, and unselfish people. They taught us independence so that we would be able to take care of ourselves long after they took care of us. I am so grateful to them for all that they have sacrificed to support us throughout the years. I never would be where I am today if it weren't for them. Thank you for always making sure I was warm and well fed, whether I was home or not. Wishing you 40 more amazing years together. I love you both very much.
You guys can get closer. We're all family here. Today, you two redouble your commitment to honoring and protecting one another above all else. Regard each other always with the same deep respect that has kept you through the years, and be ever mindful of the many gifts that the other offers you. For it is by strengthening your spouse that you've strengthened your marriage and help bring out the very best in one another. Dad, I'm going to ask if you would share some of your sentiments with us at this time.
Moses, the children of Israel led 40 years in the desert of Sinai. 10 commandments were delivered and said, 5 books written under the divine eye. The mountain was not too tall after all. 2 tablets of stone, heavenly inscribed. Daily miracles occurred, great and small, manifestations eternally described. Guided by the Almighty's helping hand, omnipotent, watchful, omnipresent, leading to milk and honey, the promised land, to walk in paths of peace and ways pleasant. Moses, that's me, his only true romance did wed, inspired by a word he cannot deny, unheard, unspoken, deeply felt unsaid, so strong, how long to wait, she must be nigh. 3 years, really not so long after all, gaining courage, confidence, and pride, with each date and every telephone call, right up to the day she became his bride. 40 years passed by in the blink of an eye. The adventures of Carolyn and Gary, destined no one had to ask why, 2 lives, opposites, ordained to marry, when in marriage he took her hand, with encouragement, no doubt from above. Then he placed on her finger the wedding band, blessing a union of 2 souls in love. Engaged to each other with true emotion, 2 beings tethered forever together, dedicated in deep devotion. In spite of gray days or stormy weathers, enchanted by her beautiful smiling face, true words and thoughts to admire, trust and believe, honest and dutiful, always, all days to inspire and aspire. Acts and deeds with pride, in all ways near, a praise from a family raised like no other. Yoni, Boba, Josh, Sarah, and Shira. Children never loved more by any mother. And a partner in divine creation, sharing and caring, marrying for life, filled with faith, hope, goodness, joy, elation, carrying each other, husband and wife.
Thank you, Dad. Mom, do you have sentiments you'd like to share today?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to share our day. I just wanted to tell you that it took him 2.5 years. It took me 3 months. He was in trouble after 3 months. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you. While today is a celebration of Gary and Carolyn's commitment to each other, it's also a celebration of their commitment as parents, recognizing with gratefulness the happiness and fulfillment that their children and, of course, their grandchildren have brought to their marriage and family. I'm going to turn to my next youngest sister, Sarah, to share her sentiments.
Hi. Oh no. Oh, thank you. Okay. I'm gonna read just because, like my sister, I'm not super comfortable in front of a crowd, but yeah. I've been told that I represent a 90-10 split of my parents. I'll leave it to you to figure out which one I resemble 90%. A split like that is possible because on paper, my parents are opposites in a lot of ways. I won't go into detail or we'll be here till their next anniversary, but something they do have in common is that they were eager caregivers from a young age. As a kid, my mom used to bring whatever animal she could find in the entire Bronx to her mother and ask to keep it. And there was a stunning range of animals too. She found someone's collie, like a full-size, glamorous lassie dog, down to a humble potato bug. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to Google it. And this, to me, is the stereotypical unconditional mother's love that you hear about and that we experienced as her children. Dad, on the other hand, took in 3 turtles, which he had for several decades. Now, you can't hug a turtle, although he did. And I think his care for them over their entire lifetimes shows a kind of accumulation of respect and appreciation and care that builds over time. And so our parents may seem like opposites, but they both poured their special brands of care and devotion into raising us. We had both sides. They're nurturing in their very nature, and it was really, truly a wonderful, remarkable thing to grow up with them as parents. Potato bugs.
Hi everybody. I also didn't write anything down because just when I think about the two of you, the thing that comes to mind immediately is just your unwavering devotion to your family. You guys are such great parents. So all the things that you do for us, have done, continue to do, will do, seen and unseen, we're so appreciative. And it's such an example for all of us. We are so grateful. We love you so much. And to another 40 years, you guys are absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you to my siblings. So I think you guys have been through this once before, but traditionally, as part of the contractual process, a ring was given to signify the financial commitment to the betrothed. Today, the ring has taken on far greater significance than the metal it is made from. And while your ring will not grant you superpowers, it is a constant reminder of your commitment to each other, and it also serves as a sign of that commitment to all others. Gary, if you would be kind enough to do the honors.
Will you come and carry me? Care to share my life? Will you come and marry me? Will you be my wife?
Yes.
You don't have to top that, but if you would be kind enough to place it on your husband's finger. And for those of you not following at home, that is the very same proposal that my father made back in that day in 1978, repeating again for everybody. And thank you. So you both are lovers of the theater. You both have made sure that your children are acculturated accordingly. And I'd like to share just briefly a poem from Les Miserables, not from the play, but from Victor Hugo's actual novel that I think captures a lot of the sentiment from today overall. Love is a portion of the soul itself, and is of the same nature as it. Like it, it is the divine spark. Like it, it is incorruptible, indivisible, and imperishable. It is a point of fire within us, which is immortal and infinite, which nothing can limit and nothing extinguish. We feel it burning even in the marrow of our bones, and see its flashings in the depths of the heavens. When love has blended and molded two beings in an angelic and sacred union like the two of you, they have found the secret of life. Henceforth, they are only two terms of the same destiny, the two wings of one mind, love and soar. Mom and Dad, you may join hands. Today, you two remember and celebrate the promises that you made to each other on your wedding day 40 years ago tomorrow night. You've symbolized the renewal of your marriage union by joining hands. It is with pleasure that I conclude this ceremony on the eve of your 40th wedding anniversary by saying that by the power vested in me, I pronounce you once again as husband and wife. Let us go forward from this place and rejoice in the love of Gary and Carolyn and their love for one another. Thank you.